Hey there fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here on the beautiful beaches of Aruba. And today what we're going to do is answer a question from one of our patrons on Patreon, who's also a member of our YouTube channel, Mark Finley. So Mark, thank you very much for the question and the support, buddy. And Mark's question is this: do you guys have a criteria or a cutoff point when you decide when you're going to fly versus when you're going to drive? Now, for those of you that know our YouTube channel, we do usually travel farther afield. So usually we're going to Europe or South America or something like that. So we're obviously flying. But when it comes to kind of domestic travel for us, we actually have a few criteria we kind of look at, and it's not like there's not a cut like a certain line like, oh, it's 9 hours then we fly. We kind of have kind of a weighted system we look at, and obviously one of the things we look at is the time factor. How long is it going to take us to get there? Okay, so you may look at it, for example, a city like Nashville. For us, the drive 6 to 7 hours. Usually in the US, 6 hours, 7 hours, you're probably going to drive it. That's kind of our cutoff point when we start to look at flights, okay, trying to figure out what we're going to have. And the thing is, when you look at time, yes, flights are faster. I mean, it's only an hour and a half flight to get there, but the thing is can you get there quickly from where you're from? So for example, if we want to go to Nashville from our local airport that we fly out of, we have to fly to Atlanta, and then we have to fly from Atlanta to Nashville. Now it's an hour and a half flight to Atlanta and then a 45-minute flight up to Nashville. So it's only 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2.5 hours of actual flight time. But the actual entire journey time for the flying for that 6-hour drive is hour to get to the airport. Got to be there an hour or two ahead before, to check in. Then you have the hour and a half flight. Then you probably have an hour and a half, layover, maybe 2 hour layover. Then another hour flight, and then you got to get in from the airport. So actually, that really quicker flight is a whole 9-hour adventure versus a 6 or 7 hour drive. So in that effect, you know what? We're just going to drive down there. Okay. So if you look at that time factor, but the thing is, sometimes time is a different factor. Sometimes it depends on how much time you have to actually travel, or we have to actually travel. So if it's in the summer and the kids are out of school and we've got a few weeks, you know what we might do is actually do the drive, because we can look and see what's on the way. So if we're going to go down to Savannah, we could fly down there, but if we drive, we can hit up Nashville, or we can go to Knoxville, which is really nice, or we can go to Dollywood or something like that on our way down there to see our friends. We can hit Atlanta. There's a lot of things we can do along the way to make it so it's not just a 15-hour long drive. It's a 6 hours to do this and have a couple days here and kind of break it up. Then it's kind of a fun thing. But the thing is, if we only have a weekend, then most likely we're going to fly, because of cutting out that time. Yes, it's a 4-hour adventure, a 5-hour adventure with all the connections, but we're there versus spending the entire day and spending a night at a hotel and things like that. So that's another thing that kind of influences of us in terms of time. Now, the next thing obviously you look at is price. I mean, if we get a sweetheart deal like $300 to Savannah, we're going to fly anyway, because I can't beat that price. Because think about it, anytime we travel, there's 4 of us, right? So if we get tickets for $300, that's $1,200. Now, that's not free, okay? But if I think about it, if we drive down, okay, we got a 15-hour drive, right? So that means we're probably going to spend the night somewhere. So we got a hotel room, so with taxes, probably going to get you about $200 each way, because there and back, plus $200 or $300 of gas money. Well, there's $700. Then you have to go eat out those times too. Now you're looking at, well, now it's almost the same price. Why don't I just save my time? Save the time, because factoring in 2 days of travel time and I don't have a lot of vacation time, that's worth more to me than money. So you have to think about things like that in terms of the price. Now, if the tickets are really expensive, I mean, I can't justify like $700 to Savannah for one person when I can get, in October, I can get flights to Ireland for $500. Okay, so that's one of those things that really influences us in terms of the price side of things. And another thing that deals with the price thing is actually, it's going to sound silly, but we ask ourselves, does Delta fly there? Because we have our miles with Delta. So I have Platinum, Josh has Platinum, the kids have Silver. Like, we fly a lot with them. So we have all these miles. We have the credit cards and stuff like that. And so with all these miles, well, the price might just be the miles. So if we can just use the miles for it, that's kind of a nice thing too. But you have to kind of judge it. Is it worth it or not in terms of the price? Now, another thing we'll also think about in terms of deciding driving versus flying is the convenience, or do I need a car when I'm there? Because you can think about it in terms of a city like Boston or New York or Chicago. You don't need a car. Heck, you don't want a car, because parking and driving in those cities is horrible, right? And so not having a car is actually a bonus. I'd rather fly that way just to save myself the hassle. But other places we're going to go, maybe, if I'm going out to the southwest, right? I'm going down there, you need a drive to go see a park or a national park or a state park or a national monument or something like that. You're driving around a lot. You do need a car. So maybe what I'll do is we'll drive out there and then use our car when we're there. Or we might look at is if I only need, like here in Aruba, we can just rent a car for one day. And maybe we just rent the car for one day to go explore around, and then we stay the rest of the time at the beach. So it really kind of depends. Do we need the car? Is it gonna make our life easier? You know, if we're gonna see a lot of friends, they could drive us around. Maybe that's one thing we wanna think about as well. So there's a lot of things that really kind of go into our decision between flying and driving, okay? So Mark, I know it's not like a cut answer like 7 hours, but honestly, I'll be honest, it is about 7 hours when it's like, you know what, I think we should probably fly. That's when we start thinking about it. So Mark, thank you so much for being a patron on Patreon, and also thank you for being a subscriber and also a member on here on YouTube. If you're interested and you want to have some of your questions answered in a video, feel free to become a patron, patreon.com/WoltersWorld, or click the join button, become a member here, and you get all kinds of cool stuff. You get live chats, live feeds, you get special videos, all kinds of fun stuff, and your question may be featured here on a video. So Mark, thanks buddy, hope you have a great time, hope your cruise went well, and we wish you all the best, and bye from here in Aruba.